Guys, the official invite is out. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of rumors to cover. No time to waste. Let's go. Okay, first things first. All phones are gonna come with Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. No Exynos, not even in India. I mean, the 8 Elite is the best chip out there for mobiles, and obviously the S25 flagships would all carry it. But for the Galaxy S25 phones, it's going to be slightly tweaked, and it's going to have a higher clock speed of 4.47 GHz instead of the usual 4.32 GHz. But you know, the 8 Elite might not be that great on news, especially for some markets like India, and we'll talk about that shortly, so hang tight. Now, I said all phones, right? But this time, it's not just 3 phones, it's actually 4 phones. The invite very obviously shows corners of 4 phones, so it's the S25 base, the Plus, the Ultra, and the S25 SLIM. But, I don't want to get too excited about the S25 SLIM. I mean, sure, it's going to be epic. I mean, it's rumored to be barely a little more than 6 mm thick, and that is crazy. And they're even taking care of the camera bump by using ALOT tech. So the device and the camera bump both are going to be slim. But why am I not excited? Look, it's not actually launching on the 22nd. It's going to come sometime around April or maybe May or maybe June. I don't know when it really comes to, let's say, India. You know, the Galaxy Ring, the Galaxy Book 4, it came really late to India. Even the Galaxy Book 5, the laptop, right? It's still not here in India, although it's launched. So I don't know if it's gonna come, and if it does, when, but I just hope it does. Moving on, the Galaxy S25 Ultra, specifically the Ultra, is going to have a super crazy display from all angles. It's going to be larger, brighter, stronger, more anti-reflective, and the most bezel-less display on any Android smartphone. So it's going from 6.79 inches to 6.86 inches. So it's a little larger than the S24 Ultra. But the overall size is going to be smaller than the S24 Ultra. So you're going to get more screen, but in a more comfortable form factor. Next, it's going to go up in brightness as well, from 2600 nits on the S24 Ultra to 3000 nits on the S25 Ultra. Third, it's going to be stronger and more anti-reflective than the S24 Ultra was, and all thanks to the second generation of Gorilla Glass armor that's going to be used. Very honestly, the S24 Ultra display is unbeatable even now. Just the way it kills reflections and the strength of the display is unbeatable. But you know, the S25 Ultra claims to be second gen, better than that. So I'm really looking forward to this. And lastly, the bezels. So I saw this image on X posted by a really credible tipster, and I don't know about you, but my mind is blown just looking at that edge. It's barely there, and man, it's going to be crazy. I mean, as I said, it's going to be the phone with the least bezels, so that's got to mean something. And the bezels are actually 30% slimmer or lesser than the S24 Ultra. Now, of course, all of this is applicable only to the S25 Ultra, but having said that, the S25 base and the Plus are still going to have phenomenal displays. Alright, next, and this one is really interesting and a little late, but the S25 series is going to get Qi2 Wireless Charging. And this is big, because with this, 2 things happen. First, your wireless charging speeds go up from 15 watts to 25 watts, and that's basically iPhone MagSafe level charging. A little late, but we're getting there. Second, it opens up an ecosystem of magnetic accessories that can be used not only for, charging, but also help with other accessories like cases, slap-ons, and different kinds of mounts. But guys, this is still a rumor. Although the Wireless Consortium did confirm that Qi2 Wireless Charging is going to come to many devices in 2025, including the Galaxy lineup of devices in 2025. Now, let's talk about a couple of design changes, and for S25 base and S25 Plus, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of change, very similar to the S24 series, but in S25 Ultra, a couple of things. First, it's going to be slightly more curved at the corners than the S24 Ultra, and it's going to have slightly more flushed buttons on the sides for power and volume rocker. And I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I mean, I like my buttons to be tactile and really out there, but let's hope this one is not true. Also, the camera bump on the S25 Ultra is going to be a lot lesser than on the camera bump in the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Also, the S25 series camera housing might also be a little different. It will have a bolder look with an extra housing around the lens to make it look like it's the newer Galaxy S series phone. In fact, very similar to what we saw with the Galaxy Fold 6 camera housing. Somewhere on those lines. Also, the Galaxy S25 base version is going to feel epic. So it's only 7.2 millimeters thick, 0.4 millimeters thinner than the S24 base, And it's got a 6.2-inch display as compared to a 6.1-inch display, yet it's going to be smaller than the S24 base. I mean, it's going to feel so perfect for a phone in a hand. I mean, if you're a small phone lover, you're going to be sold. Okay, next, very interesting things on the software front. So you're going to be getting One UI 7 based on Android 15 loaded onto all the S25 devices. In fact, I've done a whole video talking about all the new interesting things on One UI 7. I'll leave a link over here, so definitely watch that right after this video. But another thing, I remember Qualcomm promised that for Snapdragon 8 Elite chip, they're going to provide 8 years of OS upgrade. And if Samsung latches onto that, then all the S25 series phones are going to give you 8 generations of OS upgrades. And that's going to be, I think, officially the highest ever or the longest ever update program. Other than that, there seems to be an obvious update to Bixby as seen in the official invite video. Now, clearly Samsung is giving Bixby another chance, and I think Samsung wants us to give Bixby another chance. And will we? Now, obviously, I do expect more AI features, some really nice new ones, but I have a feeling, because I just read this in a couple of places, some of these might actually be paid. Who knows? Oh, and from a software perspective, I do feel a lot of things have not been talked about. Qualcomm, when they launched Snapdragon 8 Elite, talked about how they can now enable your phone's camera to just look at a bill, and you can ask it to split 5 ways, and it's going to do that just by looking. That's like visual AI, right? It also talked about how video eraser. So you can completely remove an object or a subject from the entire video clip, and that whole processing is done on chip. If Samsung doesn't latch onto all of these things and bring it into the phone, who's going to do that? So I have a feeling some of this stuff is going to be there. Now, let me very briefly touch upon the cameras. So there's actually no change in the camera setup except a new 50 megapixel sensor for the ultra wide lens. There isn't much else around it. I'm going to leave the specs and the rumored specs right here on the screen for you for all 4 phones. But yeah, the S25 Ultra is going to have the same 3x and the 5x telephoto zoom and the same 200 megapixel HP2 sensor. But hey, I do expect new AI capabilities, better optimization, better processing algorithms for photos and videos. I mean, they better. Now, let's talk about colors and variants. So guys, the hero color for the S25 Ultra and what we see everywhere is the titanium silver blue color. It looks really good in the renders, but I'm gonna have to see it in real life on the 22nd and take that call then. Actually, I'll post the colors as soon as the phones are revealed on the 22nd, so I'll put them on my Instagram stories. You might want to follow me there. But yeah, here are all the other colors for all the other phones, of course, all just rumors, and surely there would be some, online specific colors as well, and the bespoke editions in some other countries. Also, speaking about variants, what I've heard is that the starting RAM size is going to be 12 gigs, and that kind of makes sense. So no 8 gigs on the S25 base and the Plus models. Finally, let's talk about pricing, okay? And what I'm looking at online from all the rumors, there's going to be no price change. So whatever prices we saw for the S24 lineup in the US, it's going to be the same pricing for the S25 in the US. But here's the kicker. We're now getting Snapdragon variants, even for the base and the Plus models, everywhere, including countries like, Europe and India. And that means there might be a price hike for the base and the Plus models in our countries, because Snapdragon 8 Elite is an expensive chip, and Samsung is going to make us pay for it. So not entirely good news. I mean, honestly, the Exynos last year was good, but I understand the love you guys have for Snapdragon, but you're going to have to pay a price for it. Now, one thing that I haven't touched upon is the battery charging, and the battery tech. Now look, there's this new silicon carbon battery technology that's out there, which basically packs more battery in the same space. And all the latest flagships by OnePlus or Vivo, they're actually using it. I just haven't read that about Samsung's S25 series yet. I hope they're using it. It's going to be really nice. But again, I just don't know. But yeah, this is pretty much what I have for the entire Galaxy S25 lineup. A lot of stuff for the S25 Ultra, I agree, not so much for the base and the Plus, but it is what it is, right? The S25 Ultra is the most exciting product. So is the S25 SLIM. For a minute, I was going to say S25 Air. Look, I'm going to be there at the S25 launch. I'll be covering it, A to Z. It's going to be on my Instagram. It's going to be on YouTube. So yeah, follow me on Instagram because, it's going to have more live updates if you really don't want to miss out. And yeah, I'm going to get hands-on experience right there, and I'm going to put it out on YouTube ASAP. So you might want to consider, liking this video, sharing this video, but please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon and mark all. It really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.